Ghost Tales.
Hey girlies and ghoulies, and welcome to the Girly Ghost Tales podcast. We're your hosts for this evening. I'm Amber.
And I'm Leah, and tonight we're diving into some seriously haunted houses.
So sit back, grab some popcorn, and get comfy, and to the grave we go.
230 2nd Street, Fall River, Massachusetts. Built in 1845, purchased by Andrew Borden in 1872. Now operates as a bed and breakfast and museum where guests can sleep in the exact rooms the murders took place. Tonight we are looking into the murders that occurred in the Lizzie Borden House. I want to go there so bad.
I know, me too.
Like, really, it's at like the top of my list for like one of the places I want to go.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I didn't know if you were gonna do this one or the Velisca one.
I looked up that one too, and that one looks like really creepy too.
There's a bunch of houses. We can do another part.
We could do that. There's so many places that we need to go to.
I know.
And I think Fall River is only like 30 minutes away from Salem too.
I think so. I think that in that TikTok that I sent you, I think that was one of the places in
Was
there.
it? Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. I think so. So if we go to Salem, we could literally drive there and go to both in one trip.
Ugh, a dream.
I know. So her full name is Lizzie Andrew Borden. Her dad's name is Andrew, which I don't know if that was common to do for girls' names.
Yeah.
But it just seems weird.
That is weird. I feel like there are a lot of girls nowadays that have like James as a middle name.
Really?
But it's like, I feel like it's a pretty popular thing now. Or even as a first name, which I feel like
really
that is just not a girl's name to me. But I mean, to each their own.
Yeah, I haven't heard that, but it just sounds kind of weird. Lizzie Andrew Borden.
Yeah, that is. I feel like Lizzie Ann.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
that is different.
But it was also, she was born in July 19th, 1860. So maybe back then that was more common, and then it like kind of changed, or maybe they were just different and decided to.
Because I think she's the younger sister, right?
Yep.
So maybe they were like, oh, we're not gonna have any more kids, so give the dad's name to somebody.
They didn't have a boy.
Yeah,
that would make sense. And she was born in Fall River, Massachusetts. Her parents are Andrew Jackson Borden and Sarah Morse Borden, but her mom died when she was only 2. Her stepmother is Abby Durfee Borden, and she married Lizzie's dad in 1865. And she does have one older sister, Emma Lenora Borden. And their religion was active members of the Central Congregational Church. Social standing, they were middle to upper class, but her father was notoriously frugal despite his wealth. So I know that they didn't have like running water in their house. Like they had to go into the basement and use like a bucket and like fill it up that way.
Yeah.
Even though he could have afforded it, but I guess he was like really cheap about a lot of like basic necessities that they needed.
I think I remember hearing too that a lot of houses even around them had running water.
Yeah.
And he just was like, no.
Yeah, and he was like wealthy.
Yeah.
So it's just weird. Like why things like that? Why would you like be cheap about things like that? But
I don't know.
Lizzie was unmarried, living with her father and stepmother at the time of the murders. Lizzie and her older sister, Emma, had a relatively religious upbringing and attended Central Congregational Church. As a young woman, Lizzie was very involved in church activities, including teaching Sunday school to children of recent immigrants. She was involved in religious organizations such as the Christian Endeavor Society, for which she served as secretary-treasurer, and contemporary social movements such as the Women's Christian Temperance Union. She was also a member of the Ladies' Fruit and Flower Mission. So she was very like active in like the church community.
Yeah.
Like she was very religious and practiced her religion. Andrew Borden married Abby, which is Lizzie's stepmom, 3 years after the death of Lizzie's mother, so she would have only been 5 at the time when they got married.
So it was literally only like 3 years after her mom died.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Lizzie later stated that she called her stepmother Mrs. Borden, and that'd be me.
Same.
And demurred on whether they had a cordial relationship. She believed that Abby had married her father for his wealth, which I feel like that would be me too. Like,
Yeah.
thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Even if she didn't, like, I probably would think that about anyone.
Yeah. Also, I'd feel like that's weird for her, like my dad too, to move on so quick after
Yeah.
my mom had died.
She was like really young when she died though, so she might not have even really had much memories of her mom.
Yeah.
Being like, I don't have like any memories from being 2.
That's true. Yeah.
But it's still weird. Like, I don't know. I don't want to like say that it's bad if people move on that quick, but
people
like,
cope in different ways.
But it does seem like really
Yeah.
fast. Bridget Sullivan was the Bordens' 25-year-old live-in maid who had immigrated from Ireland, and she testified that Lizzie and Emma rarely ate meals with their parents. In May 1892, Andrew killed multiple pigeons in his barn with a hatchet, believing that they were attracting local children to hunt them.
Ew.
Yeah.
Also, why are children hunting?
I know.
It's just like so weird.
Maybe that's like what they did
for fun
instead of playing video games.
Yeah, true. Also, I didn't realize their maid was only 25.
I know.
That's
I thought she was older.
I did too.
I guess I just assumed that she was.
Yeah.
But nope, she was only 25.
Crazy.
And Lizzie had recently built a roost for those pigeons. And it has commonly been recounted that she was very upset over him killing them, though nobody can prove whether or not that's true. But
Yeah.
I mean, if she had a roost that she built for them, I'm assuming it's true that she was really upset about that.
Yeah. Oh.
A family argument in July 1892 prompted both sisters to take extended vacations in New Bedford. They returned to Fall River a week before the murders, and Lizzie chose to stay in a local rooming house for 4 days before returning to the Borden residence. And I couldn't find like a definite answer for what the big argument, like the big family argument, was about, but it does say that a lot of it was tension was growing within their family over Andrew's like gifts to other family members of real estate. So it says that their stepmother's sister received a house, so Lizzie and Emma demanded a rental property, which is the house in which they lived until their mother died. They purchased it from their father for $1. But a few weeks before the murders happened, they sold the property back to their father for $5,000, which back then is equal to $170,993.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's still cheaper than what my house was, but
yeah.
Could you bet $5,000 for a house nowadays?
I know. Oh my gosh, I wish.
Oh.
John Vinicum Morse, Lizzie and Emma's maternal uncle, visited the Borden home the night before the murders, and Andrew invited him to stay for a few days to discuss business matters. This has led to speculation that their conversation may have aggravated an already tense situation, particularly about property transfer. So that could potentially be an important detail in the murders.
Mm-hmm.
So Morse, the uncle, arrived in the evening of August 3rd and slept in the guest room that night. Andrew, Abby, Morse, and Sullivan, the maid, were present at breakfast the next morning, after which Andrew and Morse went to the sitting room where they chatted for nearly an hour. Morse left around 8:48 a.m. to buy a pair of oxen and visit his niece in Fall River, planning to return to the Borden home for lunch at noon. Andrew left for his morning walk sometime after 9 a.m. Andrew returned around 10:30 a.m. His key failed to open the door, so he knocked. Sullivan went to unlock the door but found it jammed. She uttered a curse and testified that she heard Lizzie laughing immediately after this. She didn't see Lizzie, but stated that the laughter was coming from the top of the stairs. This was considered significant as Abby was already dead by this time, and her body would have been visible to anyone on the second floor. Lizzie later denied being upstairs and testified that her father had asked where Abby was, to which she replied that a messenger had delivered Abby a summons to visit a sick friend. So, the murders took place on August 4th, 1892. Lizzie at the time was 32. The victims were Andrew Borden, who was 70 at the time, and Abby Borden, who was 64. They were both struck repeatedly with a sharp bladed weapon, likely a hatchet. Abby was found upstairs in the guest bedroom, face down, 19 blows.
Oof.
Andrew found on the living room sofa 10 to 11 blows to the face. Like, oh, that just makes me cringe thinking about that.
I don't like it.
No. Lizzie's story is that she claimed she was in the barn looking for lead sinkers for fishing when Andrew was killed. So this is the timeline as reconstructed from testimonies. 7 a.m., Andrew, Abby, Lizzie, Bridget Sullivan, and Lizzie's sister Emma, who was away visiting friends at the time, start the day. All except Emma were in the house. 8:45 a.m., Andrew leaves for business errands. Abby tells Bridget to clean windows despite the sweltering summer heat. Lizzie supposedly stays inside. 9:30 a.m., Abby goes upstairs to the guest bedroom to make the bed where Lizzie's Uncle John had stayed the night before. She is attacked, receiving 19 blows to the head and face with a hatchet-like weapon. Her body is found face down on the floor between the bed and dresser. 10:40 a.m., Andrew returns home, complaining of feeling ill. So their entire household was violently ill for several days before the murders. A family friend speculated that it was caused by mutton that had been left on the stove to use in meals over several days.
Mutton.
Abby, yeah, I know. I forgot to look
It feels
up what
like
mutton is.
medieval times type
it does. I know. That was so long ago, though, like in
Yeah.
the 1890s. That's
Yeah.
crazy. But Abby feared that it was poison because Andrew had not been a popular man in Fall River. So it sounds like he probably had a few enemies just based on like him being cheap and wealthy and like having all the tension in their family already.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. I couldn't find much about like what he would have done to be like disliked, but I'm sure there's more details that we'll never know. So Andrew was slumped on a couch in the downstairs living room. One of his eyes had been split cleanly in two, suggesting that he had been asleep when he was attacked. His still bleeding wounds suggested a very recent attack. Family physician Dr. Bowen arrived from his home across the street and pronounced both victims dead. Detectives estimated that Andrew's death had occurred at approximately 11 a.m. So, during the investigation, there were no signs of forced entry. Lizzie's statements to police were inconsistent. She changed her account about her location during the murders multiple times. She allegedly tried to buy prussic acid, which is a poison, days earlier, but was denied, which I feel like that's a red flag.
Red flag for sure.
Sullivan stated that she removed Andrew's boots and helped him into his slippers before he lay down on the sofa for a nap, a detail contradicted by the crime scene photos, which show Andrew still wearing his boots. She testified that she was in her third floor room, resting from cleaning windows just before 11:10 a.m. when she heard Lizzie call from downstairs, "Come quick, father's dead, somebody came in and killed him," which is like a weird thing to say.
That is a weird thing to say. Somebody's come in and killed him.
Yeah, like that's just I feel like you'd be like, ah.
Yeah,
But I guess I don't know.
Yeah, I guess you never know how people are gonna react in a traumatic situation.
Like she was probably if she didn't do it, she was probably in shock.
Yeah.
So it just seems odd.
Yeah.
Like an odd thing to say. Bridget testified that Lizzie rarely ate meals with the family and had a tense relationship with Abby. Witnesses claimed Lizzie was calm and unemotional after the murders, even eating pears in the kitchen while police were present.
She could be in shock, but also
just
weird.
Yeah. You would think you wouldn't be hungry after seeing that. It said his face was unrecognizable from all of the blows directly to his face. I feel like I would not be able to eat again for a long time.
Yeah, I'd probably be throwing up instead of eating.
Yeah. Lizzie's initial answers to the police officers' questions were at times strange and contradictory. Initially, she reported hearing a groan or a scraping noise or a distressed call before entering the house. 2 hours later, she told police that she had heard nothing and entered the house not realizing anything was wrong. When asked where her stepmother was, she recounted Abby receiving a note asking her to visit a sick friend. She also stated that she thought that Abby had returned and asked if someone could go upstairs and look for her. Sullivan and neighbor Miss Churchill were halfway up the stairs, their eyes level with the floor, when they looked into the guest room and saw Abby lying face down on the floor. So that's why the detail about when Bridget said that she heard Lizzie laughing from upstairs. If she was upstairs, she would have already seen her dead if they could see it before they even got up there. So that was part of the reason why some people were thinking she was guilty, because she was lying about that detail. Most of the officers who interviewed Lizzie reported that they disliked her attitude. Some said that she was too calm and poised. Despite her behavior in changing alibis, she was not checked for bloodstains. What do you mean you didn't check her for bloodstains after 2 very gruesome murders in her house where she was present for? It's just crazy to think of. Imagine today if that happened today and they didn't check for bloodstains.
Yeah, that would not fly today.
No. Police did search her room, but it was a cursory inspection. At the trial, they admitted to not doing a proper search because Lizzie was not feeling well. I feel like if I killed my mom or my stepmom and my dad, I would say yeah, I'm not feeling well.
I'm just overwhelmed. Yeah. I'm not feeling well.
I feel like that's just so crazy. They're like, oh, she's not feeling well. Let's just go. What are cops even back then?
I think that's the worst part about this whole thing is if they did a better job, but also it's the time, so it's not like they have the best resources.
I wish I wish everything was still there and that people could go in there now and find the evidence and figure out what happened. They were subsequently criticized for their lack of diligence. In the basement, police found 2 hatchets, 2 axes, and a hatchet head with a broken handle. The hatchet head was suspected of being the murder weapon, as the break in the handle appeared fresh and the ash and dust on the head appeared to have been deliberately applied to make it look as if it had been in the basement for some time. However, none of these tools were removed from the house.
Of course
not. Which, even if it's that long ago, that's just crazy that they just left all the potential murder weapons in the house. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I don't understand that. Especially if they thought it was the murder weapon. Yeah. Why would they leave it in the house? Yeah.
I just don't understand.
So weird.
The victims' stomachs were removed during autopsies and tested for poison because of the mysterious illness that had stricken the household before the murders, but no poison was found. Residents suspected Lizzie of purchasing hydrocyanic acid in a diluted form from the local druggist. Her defense was that she inquired about using the acid to clean her furs, despite the local medical examiner's testimony that it did not have antiseptic properties.
Clean your furs?
Yeah. You have a maid.
Yeah.
Or also, you going and trying to buy, hydrocyanic acid.
Also, is that something you use to clean furs? That just doesn't seem right. But what do I know? I don't have furs.
I know. Maybe it was something people used back then or something.
Guess. Also, the word local druggist.
I know.
That's a funny word.
Lizzie and Emma's friend Alice Russell decided to stay with the sisters the night following the murders. Police were stationed around the house on the night of August 4th, during which an officer said that he had seen Lizzie enter the cellar with Russell, carrying a kerosene lamp and a slop pail. He stated that he saw both women exit the cellar, after which Lizzie returned alone. He was unable to see what she was doing, but stated it appeared that she was bent over the sink. On August 5th, Morse, which is the uncle, left the Borden residence and was mobbed by hundreds of people. Police had to escort him back to the house. The following day, police conducted a more thorough search of the house, inspecting the sisters' clothing and confiscating the broken-handled hatchet head. That evening, a police officer and the mayor visited the house, and Lizzie was informed that she was a suspect in the murders. The next morning, Russell entered the kitchen to find Lizzie tearing up a dress. She explained that she was planning to put it on the fire because it was covered in paint. It was never determined whether it was the dress that she had been wearing on the day of the murders. That's just so suspicious.
Yeah,
Like
it's covered in paint.
Yeah, tried to buy poison a few days ago. Tried to get the hydrocyanic acid. Went back into the cellar alone over a sink, ripping up a dress in the kitchen. Like, it's just...
Your story's all wonky when the police are there.
Changing her story a bunch. So, there's evidence for her guilt and evidence for her innocence. A possible motive that Lizzie had is tense relationship with her stepmother Abby and resentment over inheritance disputes. Evidence for innocence: there were no direct witnesses. Nobody saw Lizzie commit either murder.
I wouldn't necessarily. I mean, yes, I guess it's technically evidence for her innocence, but
like
it's
nobody
not good
saw
evidence.
Anybody
Yeah,
commit them,
yeah.
So
it's evidence for everybody.
Mm-hmm. She was home during both murders. Maid was outside during the second murder, but there was no blood on her. Despite the brutality of the murders, Lizzie's clothes and hair were clean when police arrived. Inconsistent statements, changing her story about where she was, kitchen, barn, upstairs. But the timeline was also too tight, so there's only 20 minutes between Andrew's return and his death. So it's unlikely she could have killed him, cleaned up, and hidden the weapons all unnoticed within that time frame. Dress burning incident. One of her friends testified Lizzie burned a dress days after the murders. Prosecutors argued it was blood-stained. Hatchet found in basement, believed to be the murder weapon, appeared freshly clean and the handle was removed on it, but the weapon was not proven to be the murder weapon, so they couldn't tie it to the murders or to Lizzie. Her calm demeanor, eating pears, and chatting with police shortly after discovering Andrew's body, but no clear motive for killing her father. She was known to love her father despite tensions with Abby, and then her attempted poison purchase. So the jury bias towards women, it was an all-male jury, found it hard to believe that a proper lady could commit such violence, and she was so active with like church and the community and her religion, and I guess it's just a different time back then too.
Yeah.
Like, it was probably very uncommon compared to like nowadays.
Yeah.
So, but it's also weird, like, why did they have an all-male jury?
Yeah, because it's supposed to be a jury of your peers.
Mm-hmm. I just wonder why they decided that, like, why specifically all males?
I wonder if they didn't let women.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even think
about
that. That's probably why.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, Lizzie was arrested August 11th, 1892, and went to trial in June 1893. The prosecution argued her motive was hatred for her stepmother and possible inheritance disputes. Bridget was outside, no one else in the house, so she had an opportunity to do it when she did it. And then the hatchet found on the premises, so that's what the prosecution was arguing for all of the signs that pointed to her doing it. But her defense countered that There was no blood on her clothes, though prosecution suggested she burned a dress after the murders, which she claimed was the paint-stained dress, and lack of direct eyewitnesses. So those were basically their only defense, is nobody saw her do it, so
yeah,
you can't prove it. Public opinion at the time, local gossip was intense even before the trial. I can't even imagine living in that town back
I know.
then
I'd be like, oh my god, did you hear?
I'm sure I'm just picturing their little town, everybody there did you hear about the Bordens? Did you hear about Lizzie?
What do you think happened?
Fall River residents were whispering that Lizzie had the strongest motive. The press gave the case national attention, dubbing it the crime of the century. Many papers hinted heavily that Lizzie was guilty, often portraying her as cold, aloof, and calculating. High society versus working class divide. Wealthier acquaintances were shocked at the idea that she could commit such a brutal crime, and they defended her, but the working class townspeople, especially those who disliked her father, believed she was guilty. That just seems like bias.
Yeah.
His friends defended her, and then people that didn't like him were like, nope, they're guilty.
Yeah.
So the verdict was not guilty. The all-male jury deliberated for just 90 minutes, and Lizzie was acquitted and lived the rest of her life in Fall River, shunned by much of society.
Yeah, I can't believe she stayed there.
I know. I can't believe she didn't want to move far away from there.
Maybe she didn't like people. She was a recluse or something,
and also
she didn't mind it.
Yeah, it was probably harder to move back then too, by herself.
Yeah.
But that's just another weird thing. I don't know. It's all just weird.
It is really weird.
After the not guilty verdict, public opinion stayed split. Some thought she was acquitted only because she was a woman from a respectable family. Others argued the lack of physical evidence meant justice had been served. Even though she inherited part of her father's fortune, Lizzie lived the rest of her life somewhat ostracized, nicknamed Lizabeth later in life in an attempt to rebrand herself. Some theories about what possibly happened. After she was acquitted, she still remained the prime suspect in her father's and stepmother's murders. Writer Victoria Lincoln proposed in 1967 that she might have committed the murders while in a fugue state. Another prominent suggestion was that she was physically and sexually abused by her father, which drove her to kill him. There's little evidence to support this, but incest is not a topic that would have been discussed at that time, and the methods for collecting physical evidence would have been quite different in 1892. This belief was intimated in local papers at the time of the murders and was revisited by scholar Marcia Carlyle in a 1992 essay. So it's been talked about since it happened, up until now. Still, people are still coming up with theories, wondering what happened.
It is a wild case.
Yeah, I want to know.
I know.
I want to go there so bad. Mystery author Evan Hunter, better known as Ed McBain, in his 1984 novel Lizzie, which I want to read now that I know that exists, suggests that Lizzie committed the murders after being caught in a tryst with Sullivan. McBain elaborated on his speculation in a 1999 interview, speculating that Abby had caught the two together and had reacted with horror and disgust, and that Lizzie had killed Abby with a candlestick. She made a confession to Andrew when he returned home, but killed him in a rage with a hatchet when he reacted exactly as Abby had. He further speculated that Sullivan disposed of the hatchet somewhere afterwards.
I have heard that theory a lot too.
Yeah, that was one of the ones that I remembered hearing about, is that was her motive, is because they were secretly together, and that it was frowned upon back then. In her later years, Lizzie was rumored to be a lesbian, but there was no such speculation about Sullivan, who later married a man she met while working as a maid in, I don't even know how to pronounce this, Butte, Butte, Montana. And that is where she also died in 1948. But allegedly, She gave a deathbed confession to her sister in which she stated that she changed her testimony on the stand to protect Lizzie. But it does say allegedly. Like,
Yeah.
I want to know. I want to talk to her sister. Like, I just wish we could go back in time.
I know. I wish
So
people would
bad.
just, if they did something wrong, I wish they would give a confession on their death.
To me, that sounds like the most logical.
Yeah.
Or, like, the most convincing motive is that that's what was happening.
And, like, they said there wasn't enough time really in between.
But if they were both.
If they were working together.
Mm-hmm. And they were the only two at the house because her sister was gone at a friend's house.
Yeah.
And her uncle was gone visiting his niece, too.
Yeah.
Another significant suspect is the uncle, John, who rarely met with the family after his sister died, but had slept in the house the night before the murders. According to law enforcement, he had provided an absurdly perfect and over-detailed alibi for the death of Abby Borden. Morse was considered a suspect by police for a period of time. And William Borden, a man named William Borden, suspected to be Andrew's illegitimate son, was noted as a possible suspect by author Arnold Brown, who surmised that William had tried and failed to extort money from his alleged father. Author Leonard Rebello, after extensive research on William, proved he was not Andrew's son.
I wonder why he had that last name.
Yeah, I couldn't find really anything about him, so I don't know if that's true. Like if I don't know if he tried to extort money from him or say like, hey, I'm your son, or if any of that. And Bridget Sullivan is also a suspect. Her motive: disliking her job, ill from the heat, and ordered to still clean. However, no clear motive strong enough for such brutality. Like, I don't really think making her clean the windows in the heat is gonna make her
I hate my job
19
so
blows
much.
to the head with a hatchet. Like,
oh, I hate my job so much, and they want me to clean these windows. That's literally my job.
I know.
I'm killing my bosses.
Like, that just does not sound right.
No. Unless she was just absolutely crazy.
Right, which it doesn't sound like she was.
No.
And then there's the intruder theory, possibly a disgruntled business associate of Andrew's or an enemy of John, the uncle, but there was no evidence of a break-in. So I feel like that's, I mean, if he has, like, if someone is going to do that he is, like, an acquaintance with, I feel like there would be more details about things that he did to, like, piss people off.
Yeah. Unless, it's such a hard one, because I'm like, I believe that it was probably Lizzie, but if it wasn't, and it was just someone random or, like, someone like that, how?
Right, and if it was someone else, like, where was Lizzie?
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't she have heard or seen, or wouldn't they have seen her and been like, oh, I gotta kill her too?
Yeah.
And it just seemed like, yeah, there was no evidence of a break-in. The maid didn't see anyone come in or hear anyone. It's just, but it's also at the same time, like, they didn't have running water, so she would have had to commit the murders, go down into the basement, fill up a bucket, like, multiple times to bring it up to the bathtub, to fill up the bathtub, take a bath, clean or change into different clean clothes.
Yeah.
All within, like, a 20-minute time frame.
Unless she was prepared enough to where she knew to cover, like, her hair and I don't even know if you would think about that.
Right. Yeah.
And, like, not have to fully bathe. I don't know. The timeline, yeah, that it does seem, even with help from Bridget, it does seem like a tight, like, yeah, if they had running water, it might be a little different, but.
And I know it says that they didn't check for, like, blood stains, but it's also said that she didn't have, like, any blood on her, like, under her fingernails or on her face or, like, anywhere on her. But then it said, I remember hearing that they did take one of her dresses because they said there was, like, blood stains on them, but there was only, like, a couple blood stains on the inside of the dress, and she said it was from, like, menstrual bleeding.
Yeah.
And I feel like if it was over like 30 blows combined with
There'd
them. Like
be
there
a
would be
lot of
blood
blood.
all over.
Yeah,
Like on
absolutely.
her, like her hands, unless she was wearing gloves, which they didn't find any,
Yeah.
like any clothes or anything.
Yeah,
But
see,
also if it
that's
was someone that came in, like you would think one of the neighbors or something would be like, oh my god, there's a guy that's all
covered in
bloody
blood.
running away from their
Yeah,
house.
it's so weird.
It just like I just don't understand how was there no more information
Yeah,
about what
either or, like, what if it was either her or somebody else? Like, I
mm-hmm.
just, yeah, I don't know how there wasn't
That's gonna
more.
be one of my questions when I die.
Yeah.
Like that's like the top of my list right now. Is like who did it?
Who did it and why?
So later in her life, after all of this happened, after the trial and everything, her and her sister moved to the Maplecroft mansion in Fall River, which is where her mom died when they were younger. Emma left in 1905 after a serious argument and they never reconciled. The only information I could find about what their argument was about was that it was about Lizzie throwing a party there for like TV star or a movie star that I've
Oh.
never heard of, but there was literally no other details. So I don't even know if that's actually what it was about, because I feel like what could they have argued about so bad about that they never
Yeah,
reconciled again?
that is a weird. If that is the real reason,
Mm-hmm.
that's crazy that they would never.
I know. Or it's like what I'm thinking is like, did they get in a serious argument because the sister was like, you killed them, like I know you
Yeah,
killed, and then they like never talked again or something because she wasn't there at the time.
yeah, that's true.
But I also saw when I was looking it up, she's not listed as a suspect. Her sister Emma isn't,
Mm.
but some people speculated that since everyone knew she was at a friend's house, that was her motive, and she snuck back to the house and did it and then snuck back out. But that's also the same questions like, what clothes was she wearing? Wouldn't her friends be like, where are you going?
Yeah, and like she'd have to be covered in blood when she got
And what would
back.
her motive be? Like, they're
Yeah, because I feel like her relationship was,
better than
yeah, she
Lizzie's.
didn't really seem to have much of
Like
issues.
tension with.
Yeah,
I. It's just. I just need to know.
I know.
So Lizzie lived quietly until her death, June 1st, 1927, age 66, from pneumonia. And I know that her sister, I think, died a few days after her, too.
That's weird.
So I don't know. I wonder if they ever, like, after they died, if their spirits were, like, reconciled.
Yeah.
And like, hi, I'm
Hey.
sorry we didn't talk ever again about the party I threw for that movie star.
Sorry that really came between us.
There's just so much random like details that it's like none of this like makes like there's not like a complete story. Like there's just so many pieces that are like
that
missing.
just don't add up.
And they're both buried at Oak Grove Cemetery near the rest of the Borden family. So, since the Borden house is the bed and breakfast now, some reports that visitors and staff that have stayed at the house report experiencing are disembodied voices. Many visitors and investigators have heard a woman's voice speaking softly, laughing, or sobbing when no one else is present. EVPs often capture faint responses to direct questions, especially in the guest bedroom where Abby was killed. Notable alleged recording, a female whisper saying, "I did it," when asked, "Lizzie, who killed them?" And that's a report that like multiple people have reported too, is that they hear a female whispering, "I did it." If you ask who killed them, that's like something that you're likely to hear according to multiple people who have been there. But that also, so it says it's in the guest bedroom where Abby was killed. Like, is that Abby saying like, "I did it," to make people realize it was Lizzie and they just think it's Lizzie whispering that?
Maybe.
I
I wonder
just
if
don't
she
know.
knew who killed her.
I know.
Because she was. It
Well,
was like to the back, wasn't it?
it said she was facing the person who killed her.
Oh.
So she got hit in the ear, like in the face right here, and it caused her to fall on her face in between like the dresser. And then she got 17 more blows to the back of the head. after she was facing the floor.
Oh.
So, I mean, she had to have, like, just seen it as it was happening. Which,
Yeah.
like, that is so scary.
So scary. But it sounds like Andrew didn't because he was still sleeping.
Yeah. Which I wonder if he instantly, like, died from it, or if he, like, realized what was happening and, like, felt like, oh my god, my head just got freaking stabbed by something.
I feel like, because they don't mention anything of, like, him being, because he was still on the couch. I feel like if he woke up and, like, wasn't pretty much dead right away, he probably would have, like, at least fallen off the couch.
Yeah.
I would think, but I guess I don't know.
I always just think about the episode. There's an episode on Forensic Files where a son murdered his parents, and the dad, like, he hit them in the head with an axe, I think. The dad woke up in the morning, got up out of bed, went outside and, like, checked the mail, started a pot of coffee, and then died sitting at the kitchen table when he got back inside. And it said his brains were, like, hanging out of his head.
I feel like I have heard that before. I feel like I've heard that story because that sounds familiar.
Yeah. And also, like, I don't know, whoever did it, like, they clearly hated them, because why, like, so many times?
Yeah.
Like, that's
like,
just crazy.
excessive.
Yeah. That's
crime of passion, as they say.
Yeah. So people also report phantom footsteps. Heavy booted footsteps are often heard pacing upstairs even when the floor above is empty. Some guests say they've heard running steps as if someone is fleeing, possibly echoing the killer's movement after each murder, which is scary. Like, that's crazy.
The sound of disembodied running is so scary.
That's like
it's
one
like my
of the
biggest
scariest
fears.
Yeah, that's literally like one of the scariest things that you could hear, I feel like.
Yeah.
Apparitions and shadow figures. Shadowy human shapes seen in Andrew's bedroom and the guest room. A few guests claim to have seen a woman in old-fashioned clothing standing silently in doorways, then disappearing. In the basement where the hatchet head was found, dark figures are reported lingering near the walls. Physical contact. People have felt tugging at their blankets at night or light touches on their arms. Some have felt a hand brushing through their hair while in bed, especially in the rooms where the murders happened, and sudden pokes or tugs on clothing during tours. Cold spots and sudden temperature drops. Unexplained cold spots are common, particularly near the sofa where Andrew was killed. Some investigators report the temperature in one spot dropping 10 to 15 degrees instantly while the rest of the room stays warm. Child spirits. Multiple guests have claimed to see or hear children laughing, running, or playing, especially in the attic. These spirits are believed to be unrelated to the Borden murders, possibly connected to even earlier tragedies on the property or nearby. That just makes me think, what happened before that? Like, is it something in the house?
Yeah.
That's like kind of like Amityville, how it's like trying to possess someone into like murdering their family.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Could be.
Yeah. I want to know like what else happened before the Borden murders. Unexplained smells. Strong floral perfume has been reported in Abby's room when no one present is wearing it. Occasionally, guests say they smell decay or blood, often right before other activity starts, which is scary.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if you know that activity is about to start, if you smell that. Like,
yeah.
Imagine
I'd be so
anxiety.
scared.
I know, me too. Like, what's about to happen?
Yeah. Oh, God, I smell it.
Paranormal equipment hits. EMF meters spike in the murder rooms without any known electrical sources nearby. Spirit boxes have allegedly returned names like Lizzie, Abby, and Andrew during sessions, and motion sensors have triggered in empty hallways late at night. So I do have pictures of how Abby and Andrew were both found. So I'll just show one at a time. This is Abby. It just shows her from behind. So that's how she was like leaned in between there.
Yeah.
But like it almost looks like that is like a figure.
Like yeah, I was
gonna
say it looks kind of like a apparition.
Like
type
what
thing.
if it's her?
Her just next to her
ghost,
body. She's like, oh my god, I'm dead.
And then here, this is like, this gives me like goosebumps. This is Andrew, how he was laying, and like you can see his face in it.
It looks like it's just all crushed in.
It looks like half of his face is like...
His legs are off of the couch, so maybe he was awake.
Trying to get up or something and then died. But like...
Oh, gross. I hate it. I don't like the way his body's like...
No, I know, and it kind of looks like he's like... It looks like he's like smiling, kind of.
Yeah.
Or like he was probably yelling. Like he was probably like...
Yeah.
Because his mouth is open. It just looks so creepy and...
I hate it.
Like, imagine being there and having to take that picture back then. Like, that is so scary. I can't believe that you can like stay there.
I know.
Like, I want to, but I don't know. It's so scary.
I also, if Abby didn't do it, no, not Abby, Lizzie. If Lizzie didn't do it, imagine seeing that. Like,
I know.
Like the child, like seeing your parent like that.
But that's what makes me think.
Or just a normal human being seeing anybody like that.
Right. But why? I mean, yeah, I know that everybody processes things differently, but like to just be like, oh, come on, somebody killed Dad.
Yeah.
And then like eating pears in the kitchen with the police there. Like, that's just, I don't know. It's just weird to me.
I mean, yeah, that is such a weird thing that it could just be, she could have really been in shock.
Mm-hmm.
She still could have been in shock just realizing what she had done after the fact.
Yeah, that's true. Like, if she was in a fugue state or whatever that person said, like, maybe she was like, oh my God, what did I do?
Yeah.
And, like, disassociated and blocked it out or something. But we might not ever find out.
I was gonna say, I guess we'll never know.
Yeah, unless we do find out, like, when we die.
Yeah.
If we can ask questions.
I'm coming back and letting everybody know.
I want to go to Salem and drive to her house and stay the night there with all of our equipment. I don't think I'd be able to sleep though. I'd be like awake all night long. Like,
yeah, I'd probably get a hotel somewhere else. I'd be there like late through the night to investigate, but then I'd be like, I gotta go.
I know.
All right, so I did the Sallie House. At first glance, it's just another modest home on a quiet street in Atchison, Kansas. But behind the white walls of 508 North 2nd Street lies one of the most chilling stories of paranormal phenomenon in the United States. The Sallie House was built in the mid to late 1800s and is best known as the former home of Dr. Charles Finney. He lived and practiced medicine there, operating out of the front of the house while living upstairs. The home structure remains simple and unassuming, Victorian in style, 2 stories, with a nursery located at the top of a narrow staircase. Its history, however, is anything but ordinary. According to local lore, a 6-year-old girl named Sallie was brought into Dr. Finney's care with severe abdominal pain, believed to be appendicitis. In a desperate effort to save her, Dr. Finney began surgery before the anesthesia took effect. Sallie died on the table, terrified and in agony. It's said that her spirit never left. For decades, the house stood relatively quiet until the early 1990s when Tony and Deborah Pickman moved in. They were a young couple expecting their first child, but almost immediately they began noticing odd disturbances. Appliances turned off and on at will. Cold spots formed in specific areas, particularly the nursery. The couple's dog barked at unseen forces, and then the activity escalated. Scratches began appearing on Tony's chest and arms. He described it as being attacked by something invisible. The nursery where Sallie allegedly passed became the epicenter of the haunting. Toys would rearrange themselves, pictures fell from walls, lights flickered, and died. And this is where it confuses me because he practiced out of the front of his home on the 1st floor. So why did she die in the nursery upstairs?
That's weird.
Yeah.
That's suspicious.
That always confused me when I heard this.
What the heck?
The haunting was documented extensively in the paranormal TV show Sightings, bringing national attention to the house. Unlike most hauntings, which involve minor disturbances or unexplained sounds, the Sallie House appeared to exhibit intelligent aggression. Notably, it seemed to focus its hostility toward men, particularly Tony. He reported waking with burn marks, being pushed, and suffering frequent nightmares. One night, a teddy bear burst into flames without any source of ignition. Its batteries drained without explanation, objects levitated. That's
Oh my god, that's so
just
scary.
burst into flames.
That sounds like demonic
Yeah.
for sure.
What's even more disturbing is that psychological effects were also reported. Tony's personality began to change. He became paranoid and withdrawn. He once described the experience as feeling like something inside the house wanted to isolate him. Over the years, the Sallie House has become a frequent subject for investigation by professionals and amateur paranormal researchers. Teams from Ghost Adventures, BuzzFeed Unsolved, the Travel Channel, Discovery Channel, and more have all spent the night inside the house reporting similar experiences: disembodied voices, shadow figures, electronic spikes, and unexplained equipment malfunctions. Some YouTubers such as Sam and Colby, Project Fear, Haunted Nights, and the Paranormal Files have also gone and done investigations there. I've watched a few. I'm pretty sure I've watched Sam and Colby's video, and then Project Fear, I watched their video a while ago, and one of their team members was just there. Well, I think it was like in the winter time, but the video just came out where she did like a solo investigation of the house.
Oh my gosh.
I know. I could not imagine.
That's so scary.
Thankfully, they had like another team member there, but he was in the car the whole time. But like, even that's like too scary for me.
I know, because what are they gonna do?
Yeah.
Like, how are you gonna?
Can you hear that? Like, if you scream in the house, are they gonna hear you?
Walkie-talkies?
I think they do have walkies.
That would make sense.
I think,
because otherwise, how would you know?
Yeah.
But that's still like that wouldn't even make me feel better.
No, I'd be like, I'm still in this house by myself.
The ghosts could manipulate the walkie-talkie and like make it
and they wouldn't even hear
or something.
Oh. In some cases, investigators were scratched or touched. In others, audio equipment captured what sounded like a girl's voice saying, "Mommy," or pleading, "Don't hurt me." Multiple psychics have claimed the house holds more than one spirit. Some believe that Sally's mother, who may have blamed the doctor for her daughter's death, also haunts the property, filled with rage. Today, the Sallie House is owned and managed by the Atchison Chamber of Commerce. It is available for public tours and overnight stays. Self-guided daytime tours cost around $20 per person. Overnight investigations are also allowed for a fee between $125 to $150 per person. Or no, per night. Not person.
That's not bad.
That's not bad, no. Though there are strict rules in place: no Ouija boards, no seances, and no attempts to cleanse the home. Visitors are required to bring their own sleeping bags and sign liability waivers. Many leave in the middle of the night. Some refuse to go upstairs at all. That would be me leaving in the middle of the night.
I know, me too.
Despite or because of these warnings, the house has become a paranormal tourist destination. It is center stone of Atchison's ghost tours and is often cited in lists of the most haunted homes in America. Skeptics agree that the phenomenon at the Sallie House can be attributed to suggestion, environmental factors, and stress. The house is old. Creaks, drafts, and electrical issues could explain some of the reported activity. The power of suggestion, especially after hearing the tragic legend, can influence how people interpret ambiguous stimuli. Sleep deprivation during overnight stays could also account for heightened emotions and hallucinations. Still, no amount of skepticism has been able to explain the full birth of what has been recorded and experienced at 508 North 2nd Street. The Sallie House is more than just a haunted house. It's a place where history, tragedy, and fear collide. Whether it's the spirit of a scared little girl, an angry mother, or something even darker, something remains. Visitors continue to come, researchers continue to investigate, and legends continue to grow.
It's just so creepy.
It's,
like kids, and like it sounds like it's demonic, and it's like hiding behind the
I was just gonna say, a lot of people think that it's not a little girl. Just by how
pretending to. Oh, that's so scary. I want to know what it is then.
This was the sketch that Tony had made because he had seen a little girl in the house. And that was like, what they picture her to be. That's so cute.
I literally feel like that's a demon. Being
hiding.
Like, oh, how does a little girl look? How can I make it
little
look like
curly
a cute
hair
little girl?
and a bow? And Cute little chunky cheeks.
Because that is like really, I'd be like, oh, come here, little
It's
girl.
okay, little girl. You
Yeah.
can stay. This is like what the outside of the house looks like.
I like that house. Like,
it's a nice
it
house.
looks haunted from the outside even.
This is a picture. It looks like, I believe this is like the dining room, and then that's the living room, and the front of the house is like through that little door, or the door to the front of the house is over there.
It just feels like dark, even just that picture of it.
And then this is the nursery.
Ugh.
Usually they have the toy. I feel like every video I've seen or any picture, they always have the toys like in a circle.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
That's creepy.
People bring a lot of candy and stuff as like an offering. Those like
toys that people bring there then and like leave them there like as an offering?
Yeah. And then I got a couple Reddit experiences that people put on there. This one's from 5 years ago. It says, I stayed at the Sallie House. If you've never heard of it, the Sallie House is a notorious haunted house in Kansas and has been called one of the most haunted houses in the US. Google it if you would like the full story. It's very interesting. My friends, Tommy, Cap, Pat and I rented the house last year and decided to investigate it. We used to do these types of things in high school, and I've always been very sensitive to energies and spirits in general. The house is haunted by a little girl named Sallie. However, there is no record since being built of any girl named Sallie dying in the home. Sallie particularly doesn't like men, and many men experience visible scratches. My friends and I got into the house around midnight. As soon as you enter the home, you just get this weird feeling of being watched. The house has an upstairs with 3 bedrooms. The first floor has a living room, dining room, and kitchen. We were standing in the dining room talking about our plan, and all of a sudden Cap and I heard what sounded like a little girl humming. It wasn't the fridge or a mechanical noise. It sounded very human and like a little girl.
I hate that.
Like, kid spirits freak me out. I feel like they're one of the worst.
Yeah, I know. Me too. Like almost worse than like scary, like demonic spirits, but I guess not. But they still.
Well, because I feel like a lot of demonic spirits
act as kids.
Yeah.
I feel like that's why they're so creepy. It's because I think they're just disguising themselves as a kid.
Yeah, and also it's just kind of, it's also like a eerie, sad feeling to know that there's like a dead child.
That's
Yeah. Ugh. I called the other guys, but as soon as I said something, it stopped. We then heard someone walk across the floor upstairs like heavy men's boot steps. The footsteps would continue all night anytime we were on the first floor. We decided to go upstairs. I was in the middle. Pat was last. Both Pat and I heard what sounded like someone whisper, "Hey," loudly in our ear.
Oh my
Whispering
gosh,
too is just not for me.
I literally feel like they're just like, oh, let's go scare these people. That's what I would do if I was a ghost.
Me too.
I would whisper something in someone's ear and like touch their arm.
Yeah, I'd be like, hey. None of the others heard it, and it definitely shook us up. As soon as we got to the top of the stairs, it felt like none of us could breathe. It felt like something sitting on all of our chests, and you could hear all of us breathing heavily. Anytime any of us went upstairs, it felt heavy and very hard to breathe. I just like reiterated what they said. We sat in the little girl's room, kid's bed, lots of teddy bears. Tommy and Pat were sitting on the bed. Cap and I were sitting on the floor in the corners. Tommy jumped up and yelled at Pat to quit touching him, but Pat hadn't been moving at all. I had been looking at both of them. Tommy said it felt like there was someone tickling his sides. And he thought Pat was messing with him. We then heard a thump, and Cap and I saw a dark shadow walk across the doorway of the room across the hall.
Oh, that's so scary.
I don't like it. We both ran over there, but there was no one there. We then heard a very loud thump, like someone dropped something heavy on the floor in the 3rd bedroom. We ran over there. Again, nothing was on the floor or happened. There were plenty of other experiences. We would hear someone having a conversation in other rooms, but couldn't make it out. It just sounded like someone muttering. Every voice was a man except the little girl humming. The shadows we would see moving were all very tall.
That's so creepy.
Water.
That also makes me think that it's not a little girl if everything they're hearing and seeing is a man and tall dark figures, and then there's just a cute little
every
girl
once in a while.
Yeah. I also feel like kid spirits are so creepy because I feel like kids are way less likely to still be here as a
Mm-hmm.
spirit, and that since they're kids, they're in heaven and like their spirits aren't here anymore.
Yeah.
But I guess we don't know. Anyway.
Anyways.
Thanks, girlies and ghoulies, for joining us. Come back next week where we'll be joined by Brian Bateman, who is going to share stories about the haunted house that he lives in.
Make sure to follow our socials linked in the show notes and email your ghost stories and anything paranormal at girlyghosttales@gmail.com.
If you want episodes 1 week early, live ghost hunts, tarot Tuesdays, monthly giveaways, and exclusive bonus content, join us on Patreon for $5 a month. New episodes release every Friday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Until next time, and remember, if you hear a whisper in the dark, it's probably just us.
But just in case, keep your lights on and your doors locked, and remember, the veil is always thinner than you think.
Good
Good
night.
night. Girly Ghost.